1. Arachnophobia, fear of spiders. Arachnophobia is perhaps one of the most well-known and common phobias worldwide, characterized by an intense, irrational fear of spiders. Those with arachnophobia may experience extreme anxiety at the sight of a spider, whether in person, in images, or even in films. This fear often triggers avoidance behavior, where individuals go to great lengths to ensure they don't encounter spiders. The origin of arachnophobia is often linked to evolutionary survival instincts, as some species of spiders are venomous. However, this fear extends even to harmless spiders, demonstrating how phobias are disproportionate to the actual threat. 2. Acrophobia, fear of heights. Acrophobia is the fear of heights and is another widespread phobia. People with acrophobia often feel intense dread when they are at a high elevation, whether on a mountain, in a tall building, or even on a ladder. This fear can lead to physical symptoms like dizziness, sweating, and panic attacks. Acrophobia is thought to stem from a fear of falling, a survival instinct that is exaggerated in those with the phobia. This can be particularly debilitating, as it may prevent individuals from enjoying activities such as hiking, flying, or even working in certain environments. 3. Claustrophobia, fear of enclosed spaces. Claustrophobia is the fear of being in confined or enclosed spaces. This phobia can be triggered by a variety of situations, such as being in an elevator, a small room, or even wearing tight clothing. Those with claustrophobia often experience feelings of suffocation, loss of control, and panic. The fear is rooted in the idea of being trapped with no means of escape. Claustrophobia can severely limit a person's ability to function in everyday life, as they might avoid situations where they might feel confined, leading to significant lifestyle restrictions. 4. Agoraphobia, fear of open or crowded spaces. Agoraphobia is the fear of being in situations where escape might be difficult, such as in open spaces, crowded areas, or places where help might not be readily available. This phobia is often misunderstood as simply a fear of open spaces, but it encompasses much more, including a fear of leaving the home or being in any situation where the individual feels vulnerable. Agoraphobia can be extremely debilitating, often leading to complete avoidance of public places and severe isolation. The fear typically develops after a panic attack in a specific location, leading the sufferer to avoid that place and others like it. 5. Social phobia, fear of social situations. Social phobia, or social anxiety disorder, involves an intense fear of social interactions and being judged or embarrassed in public. This fear can prevent individuals from participating in everyday activities such as going to work, attending social gatherings, or even eating in public. The anxiety stems from a fear of being negatively evaluated by others, which can lead to avoidance of social situations altogether. Social phobia often develops during adolescence and can persist into adulthood, severely impacting a person's social life and professional opportunities. 6. Cynophobia, fear of dogs. Cynophobia, the fear of dogs, is more common than many people realize. Those with cynophobia experience extreme anxiety around dogs, regardless of the dog's size, breed, or temperament. This fear can be particularly challenging in societies where dogs are common pets, as it may lead to avoidance of parks, homes with dogs, or even walking down streets where dogs might be present. Cynophobia often develops from a traumatic experience with a dog, such as being bitten or chased, though it can also be learned behavior from observing others. 7. Ophidiophobia, fear of snakes. Ophidiophobia is the fear of snakes and is one of the most common specific phobias. This fear can be triggered by the sight of a snake, the sound of a snake, or even by thinking about snakes. The fear of snakes is thought to have evolutionary roots, as some species of snakes are venomous and dangerous to humans. However, those with ophidiophobia often experience fear even when they are aware that a snake is harmless. This phobia can significantly impact daily life, especially in regions where snakes are common, or in environments like zoos or natural settings. 8. Aerophobia, fear of flying. Aerophobia is the fear of flying, a phobia that can severely limit a person's ability to travel. Those with aerophobia may experience intense anxiety before and during a flight, leading to avoidance of air travel altogether. This fear is often related to concerns about the safety of the plane, the possibility of crashes, or the lack of control over the situation. Aerophobia can develop from a traumatic flying experience, such as severe turbulence, or from hearing about airplane accidents. It is a common phobia, given the increasing reliance on air travel in modern society. 9. Trypanophobia, fear of needles. Trypanophobia, the fear of needles, is a specific phobia that can make medical procedures, such as vaccinations or blood tests, extremely distressing. Those with trypanophobia may experience intense fear, dizziness, or even fainting at the sight of a needle. This phobia can lead to avoidance of necessary medical care, which can have serious health consequences. The fear of needles often develops in childhood, possibly from a painful experience with a needle, or it may be learned from observing others who fear needles. 10. Hemophobia, fear of blood. Hemophobia is the fear of blood and can cause severe anxiety or even fainting at the sight of blood, whether it's one's own or someone else's. This phobia can be particularly challenging for those who work in medical fields or who have to deal with blood for health reasons. Hemophobia often develops after a traumatic experience involving blood or as a learned behavior from parents or peers. The sight of blood triggers a vasovagal response, which can lead to fainting, making this phobia especially distressing. 11. Nyctophobia, fear of the dark. Nyctophobia, or the fear of the dark, is a common childhood phobia that can persist into adulthood. This fear is often rooted in the uncertainty and potential dangers associated with darkness, such as the fear of unseen threats. Nyctophobia can lead to difficulty sleeping, as the individual may avoid dark rooms or need to keep a light on. The fear of the dark is often linked to an overactive imagination or to previous traumatic experiences in the dark. 12. Glossophobia, fear of public speaking. Glossophobia is the fear of public speaking and is one of the most common social phobias. This fear can cause significant anxiety, leading to avoidance of situations where the individual might have to speak in front of others. The fear is often rooted in the worry of being judged, making a mistake, or embarrassing oneself in front of an audience. Glossophobia can impact a person's career and social life, especially in situations that require effective communication. 13. Emetophobia, fear of vomiting. Emetophobia is the fear of vomiting, whether the fear is of vomiting oneself, seeing someone else vomit, or even the possibility of vomiting. This phobia can lead to significant anxiety, particularly in situations where the individual might encounter vomit, such as hospitals or public places. Emetophobia can cause individuals to avoid certain foods, places, or activities that they associate with vomiting, leading to restrictive behaviors and a significant impact on quality of life. 14. Thanatophobia, fear of death. Thanatophobia is the fear of death or dying and can cause significant distress, especially as individuals age or face life-threatening situations. This phobia is often related to existential fears and worries about what happens after death. Thanatophobia can lead to avoidance of situations that remind the individual of death, such as funerals, or to obsessive thoughts about mortality. This fear can severely impact a person's mental health and quality of life, leading to chronic anxiety and depression. 15. Nosophobia, fear of developing a disease. Nosophobia is the fear of developing a serious illness, such as cancer or heart disease. This phobia can lead to obsessive behaviors, such as excessive checking for symptoms, frequent visits to doctors, or avoiding places where one might contract a disease. Nosophobia is often related to health anxiety and can cause significant stress and disruption to daily life. The fear is typically irrational, as individuals with nosophobia often believe they are at a much higher risk of illness than they actually are. 16. Xenophobia, fear of strangers or foreigners. Xenophobia is the fear or dislike of people from other countries or cultures. This phobia is often rooted in a fear of the unknown or a perceived threat from those who are different. Xenophobia can lead to prejudice, discrimination, and social isolation, as individuals with this fear may avoid interacting with people from other cultures. This fear can be exacerbated by negative media portrayals or societal attitudes, making it a complex and socially significant phobia. 17. Mysophobia, fear of germs or contamination. Mysophobia, also known as germophobia, is the fear of germs, dirt, or contamination. This phobia can lead to compulsive behaviors, such as excessive hand-washing, cleaning, or avoiding situations where one might come into contact with germs. Mysophobia is often linked to obsessive-compulsive disorder, OCD, and can cause significant distress and disruption to daily life. The fear is usually irrational, as individuals with mysophobia often believe that they are at much higher risk of contamination than they actually are. 18. Arachnophobia, fear of sharp objects. Arachnophobia is the fear of sharp objects, such as knives, needles, or scissors. This phobia can cause significant anxiety, especially in situations where the individual might encounter sharp objects. Arachnophobia can lead to avoidance of activities that involve sharp objects, such as cooking or sewing, and can impact a person's ability to perform daily tasks. The fear is often rooted in a traumatic experience involving a sharp object or in an exaggerated fear of injury. 19. Coulrophobia, fear of clowns. Coulrophobia is the fear of clowns, a phobia that is often linked to the uncanny and exaggerated features of clowns, which can be unsettling or frightening. This fear is often rooted in childhood experiences, such as a negative encounter with a clown at a party or in a circus. Coulrophobia can lead to avoidance of places where clowns might be present, such as circuses, theme parks, or even certain films and television shows. The fear is often exacerbated by the portrayal of clowns as sinister or malevolent in popular culture. 20. Heliophobia, fear of the sun. Heliophobia is the fear of the sun or sunlight. This phobia can cause individuals to avoid going outside during the day or to take extreme precautions to avoid exposure to sunlight. Heliophobia is often related to concerns about skin cancer or other health issues associated with sun exposure, but it can also be rooted in an irrational fear of the sun itself. This phobia can lead to significant lifestyle restrictions, as individuals with heliophobia may avoid outdoor activities or social events held during the day. 21. Hippopotomonstrosis fear of long words. Ironically, hippopotomonstrosis is the fear of long words. This phobia can cause anxiety when encountering long or complex words, particularly in academic or professional settings. Individuals with this phobia may avoid reading or writing situations where long words are likely to appear, which can impact their education or career. The fear is often rooted in a lack of confidence in one's ability to understand or pronounce long words, leading to feelings of inadequacy or embarrassment. 22. Nomophobia, fear of being without a mobile phone. Nomophobia, a relatively new phobia, is the fear of being without a mobile phone or being out of mobile phone contact. This fear has become increasingly common with the rise of smartphones and the reliance on mobile technology for communication, work, and social interaction. Individuals with nomophobia may experience anxiety when their phone battery is low, when they are in an area with no signal, or when they are separated from their phone. This phobia can lead to compulsive phone-checking behaviors and a significant impact on social and professional life. 23. Phasmophobia, fear of ghosts. Phasmophobia is the fear of ghosts or supernatural beings. This phobia is often rooted in cultural beliefs and is exacerbated by horror films, stories, and folklore. Individuals with phasmophobia may experience intense anxiety in dark or unfamiliar places, particularly at night, and may avoid situations where they believe they might encounter a ghost. This fear can be particularly distressing in cultures where belief in ghosts is prevalent, leading to significant anxiety and avoidance behaviors. 24. Zoophobia, fear of animals. Zoophobia is the fear of animals, which can encompass a wide range of specific fears, such as the fear of dogs, cynophobia, fear of snakes, ophidiophobia, or fear of insects, entomophobia. Individuals with zoophobia may experience anxiety around animals of all kinds or specific types of animals. This phobia can lead to avoidance of places where animals might be present, such as parks, zoos, or even certain neighborhoods. Zoophobia is often rooted in a traumatic experience with an animal or learned behavior from observing others with similar fears. 25. Triskaidekaphobia, fear of the number. 13. Triskaidekaphobia is the fear of the number 13, a phobia that is often rooted in cultural superstitions and beliefs. This fear can cause individuals to avoid situations where the number 13 might appear, such as avoiding the 13th floor of a building or refusing to sit at a table with 13 people. Triskaidekaphobia is particularly prevalent in Western cultures, where the number 13 is often associated with bad luck. This fear can impact a person's daily life, particularly in situations where the number 13 is unavoidable. 26. Ergophobia, fear of work. Ergophobia is the fear of work or the workplace, a phobia that can cause significant anxiety and avoidance behaviors. This fear is often related to a fear of failure, criticism, or social interaction in the workplace. Individuals with ergophobia may experience panic attacks or severe anxiety at the thought of going to work, leading to absenteeism or even quitting their job. This phobia can have a profound impact on a person's career and financial stability, as well as their overall quality of life. 27. Somnophobia, fear of sleep. Somnophobia is the fear of sleep, a phobia that can cause significant anxiety and sleep deprivation. This fear is often rooted in concerns about losing control, having nightmares, or not waking up. Individuals with somnophobia may avoid going to bed or may stay awake for as long as possible to avoid sleeping. This phobia can lead to serious health consequences, as chronic sleep deprivation can impact mental and physical well-being. Somnophobia is often linked to other anxiety disorders or past traumatic experiences related to sleep. 28. Bibliophobia, fear of books. Bibliophobia is the fear of books, a phobia that can cause anxiety when reading or being around books. This fear is often rooted in a fear of the information contained in books, such as fear of knowledge, fear of being overwhelmed, or fear of being judged for one's reading choices. Bibliophobia can lead to avoidance of reading or educational activities, which can impact a person's academic and professional development. This phobia is particularly challenging in a society that values literacy and education, as it can lead to social and intellectual isolation. 29. Hydrophobia, fear of water. Hydrophobia, or the fear of water, is a phobia that can cause intense anxiety when near bodies of water, such as oceans, lakes, or even bathtubs. This fear is often rooted in a traumatic experience involving water, such as nearly drowning or witnessing a water-related accident. Hydrophobia can lead to avoidance of swimming, bathing, or any activity that involves water, which can have significant impacts on a person's daily life. The fear of water is particularly challenging in environments where water is a common part of life, such as coastal or island communities. 30. Dentophobia, fear of dentists. Dentophobia is the fear of dentists or dental procedures, a common phobia that can cause individuals to avoid necessary dental care. This fear is often rooted in a previous traumatic experience at the dentist, such as a painful procedure or negative interactions with dental staff. Dentophobia can lead to significant anxiety before and during dental visits, or it may lead to complete avoidance of dental care, which can have serious health consequences. The fear of dentists is particularly challenging, as it can result in the neglect of oral health and lead to more severe dental problems in the long term. These are some of the most common and well-known phobias, each with its own unique characteristics and challenges. Phobias can have a profound impact on a person's life, leading to avoidance behaviors and significant distress. Understanding these phobias can help in recognizing the signs and symptoms and in seeking appropriate treatment and support.